Hey guys, John here again with a side-by-side performance analysis pitting the Xbox 360 version of Rise of the Tomb Raider against the Xbox One version. We've already established that huge cuts had to be made to get this game up and running on 360, but what about performance? Both versions target 30 frames per second, but they get there in very different ways. Xbox One uses an adaptive VSync solution which results in torn frames along the top portion of the image when a frame goes over budget. On Xbox 360, however, vertical sync is enabled at all times, resulting in a tear-free experience. You may be noticing right now that the frame rate on Xbox One is much more stable while traversing the landscape here. These hub areas tend to prove the most challenging for Microsoft's aging platform, with dips into the mid-20s occurring regularly. Up against the performance of Tomb Raider 2013, however, the results here are very similar. Big cinematic sequences such as this escape highlight a smoother level of performance on Xbox One as well. You'll note that Xbox 360 exhibits minor drops under 30 frames per second during this section, but also introduces some inconsistencies into the frame time graph. At 30 frames per second, each frame should be followed by a duplicate in order to preserve proper frame pacing. On 360, we sometimes see unique frames following immediately after a previous frame, resulting in spikes in the frame time graph, which produces a slight stutter. How about the Pantheon section then? As we make our way up the stairs, Xbox One once again takes the lead. But it's not long before both exhibit minor slowdown right here at the top. Thankfully, once we get over this small blip, the rest of the scene plays back very smoothly on both platforms. Many of the standard combat sequences manage to turn in very respectable performance regardless of which version you're playing. Of course, we see a few spikes in the frame time graph once again for the Xbox 360, which has a minor impact on fluidity. Running through the village, one of the more demanding hubs, also shows an advantage on Xbox One, though they both clean up rather quickly as we make our way into the woods here. Note how much detail is missing in this particular area on 360. Not every scene plays out as predictably, however. Making our way down into the Soviet installation here actually gives us slightly faster performance on Xbox 360. It's difficult to really compare the two as the rendering load on Xbox One is dramatically higher here, but it's still fascinating to see the old 360 come out on top in these rare instances.
I can do that now.
As soon as we start taking some guys out, however, we see the Xbox One take the lead once more. After tossing the bottle to distract guard 1, we sneak up behind his buddy and take him out too. Note the dips appearing on 360 during this sequence. Once in the courtyard, things look pretty stable. It's actually interesting to note that Xbox One performance in this particular area is actually faster than it was in the pre-release build we looked at in September. Both versions now hold fairly steady through this area, which makes for a more pleasant experience. Okay, so that's just a few sections from the game to give you a better idea of how it holds up during gameplay. It's clear that the Xbox One has the advantage here, with a fairly steady 30 frames per second frame rate interrupted only occasionally by tearing and slowdown in the busiest of scenes. In comparison, the Xbox 360 version of Rise of the Tomb Raider sees more frequent drops across a run of play, more in line with the 2013 installment. The reduced input latency on Xbox 360 still makes for a more responsive experience, but with the more frequent drops in performance, this advantage becomes less noticeable. So, whether you're playing on Xbox One or Xbox 360, Rise of the Tomb Raider deserves a look. Anyways, that wraps it up for now. If you enjoyed this video, check out the rest of the article on the site, and our full YouTube channel for more goodies. Until next time, this is John signing off.